Ladies and gentlemen, a man that really doesn't need anything by way of introduction, but this show does. Entrepreneurs in Quarantine. And when I reached out to Vinny, he said, I don't know. I mean, do I fit the qualities of somebody who belongs on the show? I'm like, yeah, man, you are someone who has their finger on the pulse, not only of Montreal, but of mainstream media. So I absolutely want to chat with you. And then yesterday we started to banter a little bit online, and we realized that when this is done, we're going on a date, you and I, to La Pearl.
Yeah, because we live down the street from each other, man.
We're pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm taking you for Szechuan, sir.
Beautiful.
Cousin Vinny, what is your real name? Is your first name Cousin? Who are you? Where do you come from, sir?
All right. Well, my real name's Vince Barrucco. A lot of people know me as Vinny Barrucco. Cousin Vinny on air. I host the morning show on Virgin Radio every weekday morning. It's a pleasure to wake up with the city every single day. I grew up in Dorval, so I'm a West Island boy. Now living in DDO, represent.
Yes,
and
sir.
On top of my broadcasting career, I also do a lot of live events, so a lot of emceeing, a lot of DJing as well. That's something I did back in the day that I got back into the last couple of years, and I do a lot of voice work and audio production as well from my home studio. So a lot of voice work for stuff online, for stuff, a lot of narrations, all that type of stuff, and that's for like Canada, North America, and internationally. So
I love it. Great, cool. Great bio. Really speaks for itself. Vinny, let's get into this. Because you speak to the people every day. You're taking calls. Your day-to-day hasn't changed much because you're still changing diapers. You're still going to work. You're still on air.
Yeah.
You got two young kids at home like me. What are you feeling vis-a-vis people's sentiment, state of mind? Do you feel the pessimism and the anxiety? Or do you think that people are optimistic and we're going to get out of this? What are you feeling?
It's funny, Jamie, because I'm seeing both. I'm seeing the people who are filled with anxiety, filled with fear. And then I'm seeing a lot of those optimistic people who are helping others. And especially you see it a lot in Montreal, and you see it a lot in the West Island. And I think it's interesting. I was saying this to my wife the other day. I think this whole experience we're going through, it's revealing a lot of sides of people that we almost didn't even know existed. You're like,
a lot of flaws.
Yeah, a little bit. And you're seeing like, man, why are you freaking out over that? Like, come on, we're gonna be okay. And then there's other people. One of my good friends is a doctor, and he really kind of got me back down to earth. And he's like, look, this is a serious thing, but gauging with the public, it's interesting. It's interesting. And it's a lot of ups and downs. And I think that's the best part of going to work every day is you're kind of just with them. And not every day is going to be perfect, but we try to do our best to at least make them smile, even if it's just for like a moment or two. Right?
So the reason why people, I think, are so drawn to you is your charisma. You're a magnet for positivity, and this is something that you don't learn in radio school. You don't learn, this is something that I think that you're born with and you've explored. You make people happy. You're DJing, you're emceeing, you're doing all these things that are feel good things. How do you maintain you're an entrepreneur within a corporate organization, as far as I'm concerned, an entrepreneur. How do you maintain that positivity? How do you keep your mind glass half full every day?
It's the most important part of the job, in my opinion. It's showing up, people are listening to you, and it's an escape. They don't need to be reminded of the bad that's going on. Even if you can just take their brain and just shift it just for a moment, it is the greatest feeling. And you mentioned DJing, and that's the power of music. Music evokes emotion. So it's the best part of it. And I think what we're going through, it's funny. We have more time on our hands, so to speak. Yeah, two young kids at home. It's crazy, but we do have more time because we have less events to go to. There's no visits, none of that.
Sure.
So it's forcing us to kind of be more creative and to think outside the box. I made some mixes that incorporate Justin Trudeau's voice and Premier Legault's voice, and they're with songs that sound happy, uplifting, Coldplay and One Republic, and says better days are coming. And it's just, I got a lot of messages saying, hey, that really made me feel good. And that's the whole point. And it's such a good feeling when you get that feedback. And
yeah, it is.
I love it. I love it.
You know, one of the things about you, I mean, we don't know each other that well.
Yeah.
We have our first date coming up after COVID, but
La Pearl.
You know, you are the way that you are on camera right now, the way that you are on air is the way that you're going to be if I see you on Sources or on St. Catherine Street.
Yeah.
How important is branding? You know, Cousin Vinny is a brand within Virgin, but we can take Cousin Vinny. Sorry, I still have a home line.
That's okay, so do I. I thought
from my home office. People are like, you still have a home phone, man? I'm like, yeah.
It's all right, old school, man.
How do you maintain? Tell us about I've talked a lot about personal branding, or people have spoken to me about it, and that you can take Cousin Vinny, you can put him anywhere. Mm-hmm. You know, you can put him in front of an old folks home, or you could put him in a high school dance, and he's still gonna have that brand power. How did you get to that brand power that can pivot and succeed in any environment?
You know what I think it is? I think it's consistency. You need to know what you represent, and you need to stay in that. There's 3 or 4 things. It's like a filter that kind of goes through my brain every time I post something, every time I show up to an event, every time I'm on the radio. I try to always remember those things. For me, it's pop music, it's being a silly dad, and it's being a 90s guy. Those are like my things that people know me as, and I try not to deviate too much. So I think the best thing I can tell people, at least, is just stay consistent, even when we're going through something like this. Maybe even elevate it a little bit. Stay in your lane, but just elevate it just a little bit, and where you can kind of just plow through. So
I love it. I love it. You and I are both products of the 90s. What is your go-to 90s album that you would have with you on a deserted island?
No, I don't know if you're gonna make fun of me. Are you a Will Smith fan?
Of course, man.
Okay, Big Willie style. Big Willie style. I will take that anywhere. Miami, getting jiggy with it. Just the 2 of us. Are you kidding me? That's my jam.
Big Willie style.
What about you? Come on.
You know what, man? I was gonna say something like it would probably have to be like Pearl Jam 10. Or
nice.
But I can go either way. I can be like Ace of Base. I'm full spectrum 90s.
Ace of Base was 90s was a great decade, man. Really
I love what you said though, because it's almost like you have this. I can picture you almost waking up in the morning and being like, okay, Pop, Goofy Dad, 90s baby, you got this. Tell us about what you've learned with your attitude in COVID. And now, hopefully coming out of it soon, things that you're going to take with you. Has anything marked you as being like, you know what, I really need to change, or I need to do things differently because the world is different. People need to hear something different. Is anything changed for you?
I think, first I'll start with personally, I think, it goes without saying how important family is. I mean, we're spending more time with our families now more than ever. So, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't get all bent out of shape for the dumbest things. And on a professional level, that life is so unpredictable, man. And you just got to be ready. Like you need to own your skills, and you need to keep working at it no matter what. And, a lot of people say, hey, you're really lucky to do what you do. And I God forbid, I am so lucky. But you can never get complacent, because when something happens like this and you see layoffs in my industry, and they're happening all over the country, man, does it wake you up. And I just keep telling myself, like, I got to stay strong. I got to stay sharp. What can I do today to even expand my skills a little more, to get better and to get better? And you got to stay hungry, because no one could have predicted this, like even 2 months ago. Nobody. And it's affecting industries everywhere. So it's crazy.
It is crazy, man. Yeah. Look, you said some great things today. I love the consistency of what you brought, and I love your attitude. Keep doing what you do, brother. And
thank you.
I love seeing you on buses when I pass you. I honk just to kind of support you.
Appreciate it.
But keep doing what you do, man. I'm really grateful that you came on and chatted with me, and I'll call you for our date as soon as this is over, man.
I'm getting ready for La Pearl. Thank you, Jamie. Thanks a lot. I'll see
We're
you
gonna
around.
wear our stretchy pants.
Yes, for sure, man. Take care. All the best. Eh?